Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got another start and sit video to help you guys out with your lineup questions. This is going to be for the running back position of week 6. Of course, if you have any questions of your lineups or anything like that, hit us up in the comments down below, and let's jump right into it. So week 6 of the NFL is here, and we are talking running backs. If you haven't already, check out our other start and sit videos as well. Check out our playlist to help you guys out with any of your tough lineup questions. And of course, you can hit us up in the comments down below. We'd love to help you guys out. Now, there are 4 teams on a bye. You've got the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Rams, and the Chiefs this week. So some pretty good running backs that are not going to be playing this week, but hopefully this will help you get some of those running backs in the best spot on your roster. Now, these are your obvious starts at the running back position. I don't have many because again, with bye weeks, injuries, like everything else, it's a little bit tougher to kind of put somebody as an obvious start, but hopefully this helps you out. Now, the first running back I want to mention as a good start this week is going to be Breece Hall versus the Bills. Look, I understand Breece Hall is probably an obvious start for some of you because of where you drafted him, but I think this is a good matchup because he has struggled. The Bills are the worst against the run this season, allowing 33 fantasy points combined to all running backs every single game. They're also allowing over 100 yards a game and also league leading 7 receptions to the running back position. So Hall has struggled. We get it. The offensive plays have been different. They have not gone his way, but there are some changes. Hackett is no longer the OC, so we'll see what this new Jets with the new interim head coach, new offensive coordinator will be for this upcoming week. For the Jets to actually win, I think they honestly have to give Breece Hall a chance, especially against the Bills defense that has struggled. They've had a lot of injuries on that defensive side. So I think if they're going to try to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands, this is going to be it using Breece Hall. Another running back I'm going to mention this week is going to be a big one, Bijan Robinson versus the Panthers. I get it. Bijan has not played up to par at all to his first round status, very similarly to Breece Hall. Now, Breece Hall has actually been successful in some games, but Bijan is struggling right now. He is currently running back 19 for the season. He has yet to rush for over 100 yards on the ground, but this is a really perfect matchup for Bijan to have some success. The Panthers are allowing 120 yards on the ground per game, and as well as 18 points per game to the running back 1, respectively. So with that said, Bijan has a great opportunity to have some success. This is a game where I think the Falcons could be up, where obviously Bijan has the ability to be, at least 15 to 18 touches in this one. I think they're going to pound and ground towards the end of the game to finish it out. Now, obviously, Algier is still there to have some of those touches taken away, but I still think this is a great matchup for Bijan. Another running back I really like this week is going to be DeAndre Swift versus the Jaguars. Swift has been on a hot streak the last 2 weeks. He's averaged 24 points per game in the last 2 games, a touchdown per game in the last 2 games, and 142 yards total purpose. Now, prior to week 4, though, Swift had struggled. He only averaged 6 points a game in fantasy and 22 rushing yards per game. Jaguars are allowing 14 points per game to the running back 1 and only allowing 77 yards on the ground. So defensively, they're not horrible, but they do allow 6 receptions per game to the running back position, which is where I think Swift has some success and has the ability to have a really good game. I think he continues his streak that he's got going on right now. He's been successful in these last couple games. He's got a great rushing, I would say schedule for a few more games, and then it gets really tough. So he's definitely somebody I would consider trading after this weekend, but I really like DeAndre Swift this week. And the last running back I think you should absolutely start this week is going to be Josh Jacobs versus the Cardinals. Now, Jacobs is coming off his best fantasy performance in week 5, where he put up 16 points and finally scored a touchdown. Now, 16 points isn't a lot, but for Josh Jacobs and for Jacobs owners who have been putting him in their lineup every single week, are finally happy he had some decent points. Now, he's not played up to par at all that many had expected, especially in an offense that we thought he was going to be utilized quite often. Now, they're obviously with the injury to Jordan Love, I think probably changed some things a couple games, but with Jordan Love healthy, this offense should get a little bit more in line with what we're hoping, and Josh Jacobs takes advantage of that. Now, he does have a great matchup against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are allowing 16 points per game, and they've allowed 2 100 yards games this season. So can Jacobs get there? We'll see, but I do like this matchup for him. Now, as far as the sits go, the first running back I'm going to mention this week is going to be Rico Dowdle versus the Lions. Dowdle is slowly becoming a solid RB2 with some RB1 upside every single week so far. Now, he has scored in each of the last 2 games, both of the receiving end. He has not scored a rushing touchdown, but he's got a really tough matchup against Detroit. The Lions are only allowing 58 rushing yards per game. And besides the crazy 3-touchdown game that Kenneth Walker had a week ago, the Lions have actually only allowed 5.3 points per game to the running back 1. So this is a really tough matchup. Dowdle is the running back 1 for the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is going to be a game he struggles, and a game that I think he possibly has some value in the pass catching aspect, but I think Zeke actually might have a little bit better game because he is their pass blocking running back, and being in situations where he may have to be out in the field just to help against that pass rush, especially against Aiden Hutchinson. We'll see how things play out. Now, another running back I'm going to sit this week is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. versus the Ravens. Brian Robinson is coming into week 6 hurt and is limited in week 5. And you saw that happen. Now, he did score some touchdowns, which obviously helped salvage his game, but he didn't get a lot of opportunities. This week is against a really tough Ravens defense, and this is going to be really tough. He could still be limited. He may miss the game. We'll see how things play out on Sunday. But the Ravens have also only allowed 48 yards on the ground, which is the league best, and they're also only allowing 9 points a game to the running back position. So even if Brian Robinson played a full game, I would still consider sitting him because this is a tough matchup. And the fact that he's limited, possibly have very similar, stat line that he had a week ago without the touchdown, I think Brian Robinson may be someone I'm going to sit. Another running back I would consider sitting this week is going to be Antonio Gibson versus the Texans. Yes, Gibson gets the start again this week, but the difference is he's actually going to get the start and the touches. Ramondre Stevenson is going to miss the game, unfortunately. So that means Gibson is the RB1. Texans have been tough against the running back and run, only allowing 85 rushing yards per game and 13.9 points per game. Gibson is not a traditional bell cow back. He has had some success before when he played for Washington, and he is a great pass catching back, which I think may have some ability to salvage his game if you're going to start him this week, because I do expect the Texans to actually be up, putting the game script into a passing type of offense. But they are playing with their new rookie quarterback in Drake May. He has been announced the starter, so that may change some things and play a factor in this type of scheme. So again, Gibson is somebody I may want to sit. Another running back, and the last one I'm going to mention this week, is going to be Chuba Hubbard versus the Falcons. Now you're going to say, Steve, you're crazy. Chuba Hubbard has been playing very well. Absolutely. He's been averaging 22 points per game in the last 3 games. Hubbard will continue to be the bell cow for the Panthers, but there's a good chance he gets game scripted out against a tough Falcons defense, and who has actually been really tough against the run. Falcons are actually a team that's also going to be able to put some points, and I think Kirk Cousins showed that on that Thursday night game against the Bucs. Falcons are also only allowing 13 points per game and have only allowed 1 touchdown so far this season to running backs. So again, really tough matchup. I think this is a game that Hubbard could be game scripted out, could struggle. I know everyone feels comfortable with him in this offense because he's done really well the past few weeks, which has been fantastic. But this is a game I have just a feeling in just the statistics that he may struggle this week. Now, my sleepers for this week is going to be Najee Harris versus the Raiders and Tony Pollard versus the Colts. Now, Najee Harris has not scored a touchdown like you would hope, but Najee has an opportunity, I think, against the Raiders, who have been struggling defensively. They do get Crosby back, which is helpful, but again, I think Najee's a nice little sleeper. And then Tony Pollard versus the Colts. I think he's going to have an opportunity to have some success this week. I really like this matchup for both of these guys. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for week 6 of the running back position. Again, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to help you out with your lineup questions. And of course, if you haven't already, check out my other start and sit videos. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. I'll check you guys out next time.